for the 87th time. I've tried to record this so much. It is 2:30 in the morning, but I gotta get it out. So today I was giving a word and I was flowing and I was live, and in the middle of it come a shift, and it felt so important. And I heard the Lord say, your $300 in your hands is so different than in somebody else's. Whoever you are, there's something specific about $300. I'm not telling you to give it. I'm not telling you to spend it. I'm telling you it's something up here. It's a need, or it's something you want so that you can go and do something for God or for your family, which in turn is also a ministry. So I'm going to include family in there. I don't know why that's a specific amount, but I know this much. I heard a story one time and even had someone tell me the same thing. I've always talked about planning a church, and I've been the pastor of many church plants. But what I didn't know how to do was build finances from the ground up. I didn't know how to get the investors. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to get it built. But what I did have was cadence. What I did have was the ability to talk to people. I've had it my whole life. And what God will do when you don't have that thing is give you the means to get to that thing. Let me make that make sense. I consult a lot for churches. And I want to tell you, if you bring an event and you say it's impossible, ain't nobody going to help us, I don't know where to start, all I need is your phone book. All I need is you to drive me around your town. I don't care about the big chain. I want to know who's the mom and pop chicken hut. I want to know who's the little boutique. I want to know where the little bookstore is. I want to know where the hairstylists are. Because if I have all that, I've got everything I need to help you plan an event. If Papa's Chicken Hut wants to help us feed 100 kids on Wednesday, guess what? Our church now loves Papa's Chicken Hut. We tell everybody about it, because not only are we benefiting someone who has a heart for God, but we're having our need met and in return helping to meet another need. You get the local hairstylists in to do their do-gooder job for the day, and they usually do. I love hairstylists because they're always willing to come and help. If kids need back to school haircuts, if seniors need haircuts, if we just want to paint nails or help you feel beautiful, they'll come out and they'll sit and they won't charge you nothing. And when you have no agenda with your kindness, you'd also be surprised at what the Lord will do for you without you ever even expecting it. There's been so many times that people have sent me things that I didn't expect. People that I had to go in and I would search for them on TikTok because I wanted to say thank you. Or I wanted to figure out who they were so I could follow them because it was so kind and it made me feel so loved. But I'd go in and I could never figure out who they were, and that's happened to me so many times. Here's the thing, is that a rich man doesn't always have favor, and a favored man ain't always rich, but he always seems like it. I travel a lot, and I think people assume that I must have a lot. That's not true. I'm spiritually rich. But somehow, some way, God always makes a way, and he'll always make me take that week off. I will struggle and strive with him about it because it ain't the way we're raised on the farm. You don't take a week off. You got stuff to do. That's the way I was raised. But when I take the week, I might come back and realize that I've dipped down a little bit. But never do I not come back and come back better in the end, because it's obedience. So take this away, all right? That 300, whoever this is for, that 300 is very specific. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's going. I don't know what you need to do with it or what you hope to use with it. I don't know. It's only between you and God. But what I know is this: he who is faithful in little is what? Faithful in much. I want to teach you a principle about financial aspects in the kingdom. Pray this prayer. I've prayed it for 10 years. Ask the Lord to make you good ground, not just to increase you. Why? Because if you're not good ground, God ain't going to do it. He's not. Would you willingly allow your children to give their money to somebody that you knew was fake or phony or using them, are going to take that money and hurt somebody with it? You absolutely would not. And this is how God is. 10 years ago, I started praying, God, make me good ground. And it started because people would sow into our ministry. And I remember feeling like, God, I want to be the best ground. Because the last thing that I want in ministry is for someone to sow into what I'm doing for God, and for weeds to come up because I sucked. And for all these years, God has been faithful to do that. People ask me how I got where I am. I don't even know where here is, to be honest. The only thing I can tell you is it was always, always God. The books I got to write, the stories I got to cover as a journalist, the radio shows, the voice acting work, the modeling, the preaching, like all of it. Playing the piano for as many years I got to professionally. Like, that is crazy. I feel like I've lived so many lives. And the most beautiful part about that was I was surrounded on book tour by some people that you would recognize. Good people, the same people that you see on TV, are the people that I got to know. And people will assume that people like that are phony, but most of them are incredible. The ones I've met were all incredible. But when you're in spaces like, we call it the ICRS, it's the International Christian Retail Convention, it is closed out to everyone, everybody, but the press. And you're going to see Joyce Meyer in there, and you're going to see Stephen Furtick in there, and you're going to see Toby Mack in there, and you're going to see everybody with something new in a Christian market is going to be there. Well, this was never interesting to my kids except for this one time of year. Their friends always thought it was cool what Mama did. But my kids are so unimpressed by me, which same. But I always love that about my kids, is they are proud of me, but they're not impressed by me, and that's two different things. You'd rather somebody be proud of you than impressed, because impression fades. But I remember that we used to go and I would take them, and it was the one time they loved it, because back then there was still DVDs, and the VeggieTales would be there, and the creators, and the new movies, and the new little DVDs coming out, and my kids would always get to see stuff before it hit stores. And that's favor. And I remember being on planes with my babies. I remember signing so many books that it looked like I was somebody when I didn't feel like nobody. I almost missed a plane one time at one of these because we signed about 500 books in 30 minutes, and I ran out the door just to get in a car and get on a plane. And then people thought I probably had because of that line. I didn't have. I had a line I didn't have. But what I had was favor, because that book did really well. And in writer land, well doesn't always mean wealthy or rich. It means it got some accolades on it. Like it got some awards. And it meant something. She was a writer, maybe not so much to you in a bank account. But here's the thing, favor ain't fair. And $3 million in the hand of a rich man might not be as much as $300 in your hand. I want you to remember that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having anything. So if you're a rich person watching this, don't feel like you might feel like it's still for you. And if so, maybe that's not much to you. Maybe $3,000, $300,000 isn't a lot to you. Maybe you're trying to do something really big. But even then, God wants you to know that in your hands, it's bigger than you think. Keep trusting the Lord, pray to be good ground, and watch the Lord increase you.